Hey guys, my name's Kelsey.
My name is Becky.
And we're the Sorry Girls.
And you guys always ask us what a ride or die DIY kit would be, and if you're just starting out DIYing, what you should pick up.
We got you covered because we've been doing this for a couple years, and here's some things that might seem obvious, might not seem obvious, and might seem obscure, but you'll probably end up using them way more than you ever thought you would.
So let's jump right into it. So the first thing obviously is a good pair of scissors. You will use this in pretty much every DIY that you do ever. We love these gold ones because they look good and they work great, so we'll link those below.
That might seem obvious, but something that is not as obvious is fabric scissors. So honestly, you can get fabric shears, which are a little bit more expensive, but honestly, we just found a good pair of scissors, which are like the exact same thing, but we only use these for fabric. So no paper, no thicker materials, and then it keeps them nice and sharp.
No tape, because tape quickly ruins scissors. It gets them all sticky and gunky too.
So basically like gunky scissors and fabric only scissors, so they're nice and sharp.
Next up is a craft knife or a tiny little X-Acto knife with blades that you can switch out. We use this all the time. Something that we used to use it for a ton before we had an electronic cutter machine is cutting out things out of paper or anything detailed. So we made a quote pillow years ago using this, and this got us through, and we love these things. When it gets dull, you can buy the new blades. They're super affordable.
Go get yourself one. This is like your DIY supply shopping list.
Yes.
We'll link it below and on the blog too, and link all these things too, so you can just shop on Amazon if you want. Next up is super glue. Other than hot glue, I think this is one of our favorite glues. It's good for smaller projects and used for every purpose, which is the best part.
Yeah, it can be used in a pinch too. If a DIY isn't going well, you can just super glue it together and it'll probably be fine.
Yeah.
We use it all the time.
And it's usually not too expensive and clear. It's just, need this on hand always. Just be careful. If you get it on your fingers, nail polish remover.
Okay, next up is a glue gun, and of course we use this in almost every video again. And recently we did a glue gun challenge video where we tested out a bunch of glue guns to see what the best one was. This one was the winner. If you want to see what happened in that video, you can click the card above and below.
Twine is a really good material to have on hand. It looks really cute. You can tie things with it. You can use it to make hanging pots, to just add a little detail, wrapping gifts. It's just a really easy go-to. Twine or some kind of cute string thing, I think, is a good thing to have in your DIY arsenal kit.
So next up is pliers / wire cutters, and even better if you can get a 2-in-1 like this one, then you don't have to own a ton of tools, and it does the same thing. This is great for bending wire, doing anything with jump rings. We made necklaces recently where we use this for the whole thing. It's just super handy, and purple is cute.
And you don't want to use your scissors to be cutting wire. I know some people do that. You will quickly not do that because you'll realize that your scissors now work for nothing.
Because they're really dull now.
So make sure if you're cutting wire, always use wire cutters. A thin Sharpie is really good for any kind of cards, drawing, writing, planning. Thin Sharpies, thicker Sharpies, we use them all the time.
Yep. And then last up for things that you might already own, but if you don't, we'll tell you anyways, paint rollers. You might think you can get away with paintbrushes your whole life, but I swear if you use one of these, it will change your life. You can get these from the dollar store literally, and paint rollers just leave the nicest finish on anything. We painted our cabinets in our old office a while ago, and it came out so professional looking and not streaky because paint rollers.
Yeah, they're so much easier than paintbrushes. You can get the job done way faster. This was a late learn for us.
I know, I don't know
we were
why.
how did we go on so long with this? If you have a big project, you're probably gonna wanna use a paint roller. Next up, we have some slightly obscure but very useful items. We have a hacksaw. This is super tiny, so you can definitely fit it in your DIY kit, even if you don't have a lot of space. And this is one of the kind of harder core tools that we have. We use this for cutting metal. We just find ourselves reaching for it if we're just trying to get something done.
Yeah, and even if you think you're not a handy person, you will need this. If you buy doorknobs from Anthropologie and they're too long, trim them with this guy. So handy. Next up is a leather hole punch, and this guy might look a little intense, but he'll become your new best friend. He is basically a really heavy-duty hole punch. You can't get away with using a regular office hole punch for leather or anything.
No.
And if you want to make a nice hole in fabric, this is the way to do it. It's so easy and it looks so professional. We've used it on leather and other fabrics, and we use it all the time personally to adjust our belts and put new holes in belts.
Seriously, if you're having a skinny day or a bigger day, and you about the amount of times where I'm 9 o'clock and I'm leaving the place and I'm oh, I just need to add an extra hole. Way too many times, it's weird.
Yeah, and this works so well. It's not that expensive, linked below.
So next up we have 2 tools that go together. These are your glass cutting and glass scoring tools. So they're both very inexpensive. This one has like the tiniest little blade, like it's not even sharp, but you push down and you apply pressure when you're cutting glass, and then you come around with these pliers, and then you just go like that, and it snaps it in half. We've used these so many times. We always use them in our flip upcycles, like cutting glass we did it for your wedding thing. We did it for terrarium. We cut a whole bunch of glass. You can kind of pretty much only cut straight lines. So if you're trying to do like any kind of circle or anything, that's like,
we don't know.
We don't have to do that yet.
For that one.
We'll get back to you on that one. But we find ourselves using this a lot. It's awesome for upcycles.
Oh, mirrors too.
Mirrors.
You can cut mirrors.
I was just gonna say that.
Wow.
And they're just like so inexpensive that I'm like, yeah, these are a good little handy dandy tool.
And the last one is this little guy called an awl, A-W-L. And really all it is just
all it is?
All it is. It's just, Danielle is giggling. It's just a really sharp, spiky piece of metal.
Low-key, you could use a hammer and a nail.
You could, but it's nice to have it in a tool. And we bought this back when we did our DIY bullet journals, so we used this to punch holes in the paper and then threaded it up. But since then, we've used it for so many things. This is so handy if you're trying to put a screw in something and it keeps slipping. You can get the hole started with this.
Yep.
You can use it for like so many things. You'll find use for this, and it's not that expensive. So
yeah,
try out one of these guys.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that if you're trying to build up your DIY supply kit, that this helped you out, some places to get started. And I mean, these are some of the tools that we have, so we use them all the time in our tutorials. So if you're watching a tutorial, then if you have these tools, it might be a little bit easier for you to do the tutorial.
If you guys have like a ride or die DIY essential that we haven't mentioned, let us know. We'll have to check it out.
Like measuring tape, ruler. There's like so many obvious things, like, oh, a pencil?
Yes, but maybe there's something amazing that you figured out that makes life a lot easier that we haven't figured out, so please tell us.
Yes. Some of the tutorials that we mentioned today will be linked below, some throwback tutorials. And again, we'll link the actual tools and stuff here if you want to grab those.
Yes.
And if you guys like this video, make sure that you give it a like.
And if you love it, make sure you sub it.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.